Hey there, listeners.
Hi.
You guys really came through with some interesting source material for this deep dive.
Yeah.
The audiobook, He's Just Not That Into You, really caught our attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dating guide aimed at empowering women to raise their standards
Yeah.
and find more fulfilling relationships.
Right, so
All about ditching the meh relationships
Yeah.
and embracing the love that truly lights them up.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be exploring why women settle for less in relationships.
Yeah.
Societal pressures, the differences between men and women when it comes to, sex, and the importance of self-awareness and pride in the dating game.
Right.
So, okay,
Yeah.
let's unpack this mountain of dating wisdom and see what nuggets of gold we can unearth.
Sounds good.
The book kicks off with this story about the author being stood up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, picture this. Waiting at a bar for a date who never shows. It's like, hello, self-doubt.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, haven't we all been there at some point?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
This experience actually led the author to this whole idea about the importance of pride in dating.
Yeah.
And it's not about being arrogant.
No. Yeah,
right?
Not at all.
It's about recognizing your worth.
Yes.
Not wasting time on those who don't see it.
Exactly.
So, how do you cultivate that sense of pride?
That's a great question.
Especially if you've been in a cycle of, settling.
Yeah.
The book gets pretty real about this. It encourages you to analyze past relationships. Look for patterns where you might have compromised your self-worth.
Right.
Like making excuses for bad behavior.
Oh, yeah.
Putting his needs before your own, that kind of thing.
Makes sense.
Recognizing those patterns, that's the first step to breaking free and setting those healthier boundaries.
I agree.
So it's about being honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
Asking, am I settling for crumbs when I deserve the whole cake?
Love that analogy. Yeah, it's about recognizing your worth.
Now, the book also talks about the meantime trap.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like,
what is that?
when you're in those meh relationships, just waiting for something better to come along.
Right.
I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah, right.
But how do you, actually know if you're stuck in it?
So the meantime trap, it can be pretty sneaky.
Right.
It often comes from this fear of being alone.
Oh, yeah.
Or feeling like you need to settle down quickly.
Especially as you get older.
Especially as you get older, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the book, encourages you to ask some hard questions. Like, am I genuinely excited about this person?
Right.
Or am I just afraid of being alone?
Exactly.
Right. Do I see a real future with them? Or am I settling because
Yeah.
of societal pressure?
Or the biological clock.
Yeah.
It's tough,
It is tough.
But those are important questions to ask.
And I think if you find yourself constantly making excuses for someone,
Yeah.
downplaying your own needs,
That's a big red flag.
that's a huge red flag.
Right there.
Right. You
Yeah.
might be caught in the meantime trap.
Definitely.
So it's like being brutally honest with yourself
It is.
about what you want and deserve, instead of letting fear or those external pressures dictate your choices.
Absolutely.
Stepping back, asking, is this relationship truly serving me?
Right.
Or am I just going through the motions?
It's a very important question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means choosing to be single.
Yeah, sometimes it does.
Rather than settling for a relationship
Yeah.
that doesn't align with your values
Absolutely.
and desires.
Right.
Powerful message.
It is, yeah.
Especially in a culture that often pressures women to couple up, regardless of whether the relationship's actually fulfilling.
It's sure.
The book also delves into this concept called the boyfriend mirror.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
So this is
What is that?
the idea that some women rely on their partners to validate their self-worth, their attractiveness.
Right.
Like constantly seeking that external approval.
Yeah, looking for that validation.
And reassurance
Aside.
instead of cultivating that confidence from within.
Instead of finding it within themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
I know so many women who fall into that trap,
It's common, yeah.
constantly seeking compliments, reassurance from their boyfriends.
Right.
They need that external validation to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
It seems like a recipe for disaster.
It can be, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when your self-worth is tied to someone else's opinion, you're giving them the power
Right.
to make you feel good or bad.
Exactly.
You're living in their reflection instead of owning your own beauty.
Your own brilliance.
Right. And it just sets you up for disappointment.
It does.
Because no one can constantly validate you or meet all your emotional needs.
No one could do that.
It's like this immense pressure on the relationship that it's not designed to bear.
It's too much to ask.
The book challenges you to break free from that boyfriend mirror and start cultivating your own sense of self-love, acceptance, focusing on your strengths, accomplishments, passions, rather than seeking that validation from a partner.
Exactly.
So instead of asking your boyfriend, do you think I look good in this dress?
Right.
You should be asking yourself, do I feel good in this dress?
Exactly.
It's about shifting that focus inward.
It is.
Recognizing your own inherent worth.
Their own value.
Yeah. It's about reclaiming your power.
Absolutely.
Recognizing that your value comes from within, not from someone else's opinion.
It's an inside job.
That's such an empowering concept.
It is, yeah.
And I think it's something a lot of women struggle with.
Yeah, for sure.
Myself included.
It's tough.
You know, we're so conditioned to seek approval.
From others.
Especially from men.
Yeah, it's societal, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But he's just not that into you. Is challenging us to rewrite that script and step into our own power.
It's about taking control.
It's not just about empowerment, though.
No, it's not just about that.
Right.
It's about setting yourself up for healthier relationships.
Right.
More fulfilling ones.
When you know your worth and refuse to settle, you're more likely to attract a partner who values you, appreciates you for who you truly are.
Exactly.
So it's about raising your standards.
It is.
Attracting a partner who reflects that love and respect you have for yourself.
That's the goal.
Now the book also dives into some really interesting insights about how men and women approach dating and relationships, especially when it comes to sex.
Oh, interesting.
It acknowledges there are some fundamental differences.
Yeah, there are.
In how we experienced desire, arousal.
Right.
It doesn't shy away from exploring those differences.
No, it's important to talk about.
It even talks about the failed attempt to create a female Viagra.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is pretty telling.
It's fascinating.
Right. Yeah. It just highlights that women's sexual desire is more complex.
More nuanced.
Than just taking a pill.
It's not that simple.
It's influenced by so many factors.
Yeah, it is.
Like emotional connection, intimacy, trust.
Right.
And that's where the book's advice on recognizing red flags becomes so important.
It's crucial.
Right. If you're not feeling that emotional connection or trust,
it's a sign.
It's probably a sign to move on.
You got to trust your gut.
So it's about trusting your gut.
It is.
Recognizing that those red flags are often indicators of deeper issues.
Deeper problems.
That might not surface until later.
Later in the relationship.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's better to address them early on than to get caught up in a relationship that's ultimately not fulfilling.
Absolutely.
This is like already giving me so much to think about. Yeah, it's like a crash course in dating and relationships.
It really is.
But let's take a closer look.
Okay.
At some of those red flags.
Sounds good.
What are some of the types of guys to watch out for?
Oh, well, there's a classic Mr. Indecisive.
Oh yeah.
He can't seem to commit.
Right.
Always hedging his bets, keeping his options open.
Yeah. Ugh. I've definitely encountered a few of those. Yeah. In my dating adventures. It's like you're always left wondering where you stand. Yeah. Because he's never fully present in the relationship.
Yeah, like he's
too busy to make plans
or he's
always seems to have one foot out the door.
Exactly.
It's exhausting.
It is.
And it can really mess with your self-esteem.
Oh, for sure.
Because you're constantly questioning whether he's truly interested.
You're doubting yourself.
Yeah. But the book says that this indecisiveness is often a reflection of his own insecurities.
It's not you, it's him.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not about trying to change him or convince him to commit.
You can't change people.
It's about recognizing that his behavior is a red flag.
It is a warning sign.
And deciding if you want to deal with that uncertainty.
Exactly.
Which is so liberating.
It is freeing.
What are some other types to look out for?
Another one is Mr. Emotionally Unavailable.
Oh, gosh.
This guy, he might be charming, engaging on the surface.
Yeah.
But there's this lack of depth.
Yeah.
Genuine connection.
I think a lot of women have encountered this type.
I think so too.
Like, he's reluctant to open up emotions.
Share his feelings.
Right. And you're left feeling like you're walking on eggshells.
Afraid to get too close.
Right.
Yeah.
Afraid to get too close.
It's a defense mechanism.
And that kind of like emotional distance can be so lonely.
It is.
It's
not a real connection.
It's like you're always yearning for a deeper connection, but he's just not capable of giving it.
You can't give what he doesn't have.
Right. It's like trying to squeeze water from a stone.
Exactly.
Right.
Perfect analogy.
And then there's the Mr. Player, right?
Oh, yes. That's a classic.
Yeah.
He's all about the chase.
The conquest.
Thrives on the attention, validation.
Right.
But he isn't really interested in a relationship.
He's not there for the long haul.
Nope.
He's the master of charm.
Smooth talk.
Smooth talk.
Yeah.
But his actions rarely match his words.
Actions speak louder than words?
He's the one who, ghosts you for weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And then suddenly reappears.
Right.
With a charming text.
Like nothing happened.
Acting like nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's all about, keeping you on the hook.
Keeping you interested.
Without actually investing.
Without any real effort.
Right. And the book is like, don't fall for it.
Don't be fooled.
It's like, look beyond the smooth talk.
Look at his actions.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Does he follow through on his promises?
Is he reliable?
Does he actually try to get to know you?
Does he care?
Or is it just all superficial?
Is it all an act?
It's like you have to become this dating detective.
You got to be observant.
Right. Analyzing his behavior.
Looking for clues.
For clues.
Yeah.
But that seems exhausting.
It can be tiring.
Right.
Yeah.
But the book, gives you this framework.
A roadmap.
Right.
To help you navigate.
For understanding these patterns.
To see the red flags.
And making more informed choices about who you let into your life.
Who you give your time to.
Right. And it's not about judging.
No.
Labeling.
It's not about that.
Right.
It's about...
But recognizing behaviors.
Recognizing patterns.
That might signal incompatibility.
Look, you're on a good match.
It's like having this dating cheat sheet.
A guidebook.
Helping you decode
it's like
those confusing signals.
The mixed messages.
To make choices.
They're right for you.
Aligned with your values.
What you deserve.
Desires.
Yeah.
So it's not about swearing off men.
Well.
Or becoming cynical.
It's not about giving up.
Right.
No, it's about being smart.
It's about recognizing that you have the power.
You are in control.
To choose who you spend your time with.
You get to decide.
Right? Yeah. Boundaries.
Protect your heart.
Protect your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Walk away from those situations.
That aren't right for you.
But aren't serving you.
Yeah.
You deserve to be with someone.
Who treats you well.
Who is genuinely interested.
Who's
respectful. Yeah. Emotionally available.
And sometimes the best thing you can do.
Sometimes you have to.
Is walk away.
Walk away.
Right.
Yeah.
Those who aren't capable.
They can't give you what you need.
Of giving you that.
If they don't have it to give.
The book also talks about navigating casual sex.
Oh, interesting.
Recognizing situations where it might not be the best choice.
Right.
Which is interesting because there's often this pressure, especially for women.
Societal pressure.
To approach casual sex with this detached.
Or like a man.
Like a man mindset.
Yeah.
But the book challenges that, right? It acknowledges that.
Even when women try to approach it with a carefree attitude,
right?
It often doesn't work out that way.
It's not that simple.
Emotions.
Biology
get in the way.
It's complicated.
The book even mentions
what's that?
Post-orgasm regret.
Oh, wow.
Which can be a real downer.
Yeah, no, not fun.
After a casual encounter.
It can happen.
I think that's something a lot of women can relate to.
I think so.
You think you're going into it with a clear head, a casual mindset.
Yeah.
But then your emotions catch up.
They do.
It's like your body and mind are having two different conversations.
They're not on the same page.
And the book reminds us that women's bodies are wired for connection.
We're wired for intimacy.
Even when they're trying to keep things casual.
Even when we try to be detached.
Right.
Yeah.
So the release of oxytocin during sex.
Oh, interesting.
Which is that hormone associated with bonding and attachment.
The love hormone.
Right. It can intensify
Yeah.
those feelings of emotional connection.
It makes sense.
So even if you're telling yourself it's just a fling,
right.
your brain is releasing these feel-good chemicals.
Powerful chemical.
Designed to promote bonding.
Attachment.
It's like our biology is working against our intentions.
Our bodies have their own agenda.
The book isn't saying that casual sex is wrong.
No, not at all.
Or that women shouldn't enjoy it.
It's about being honest.
It's about being honest. It's about what you're seeking. What you really want.
About what you're seeking.
What you really want.
From those experiences. And making sure it's truly serving you.
Right.
Not just fulfilling some societal expectation.
Or fear of being alone.
Right.
It's got to be for the right reasons.
It's about being in tune with your emotions and needs.
Listening to your intuition.
Right.
Yeah.
And recognizing that sometimes casual sex can lead to more heartache, more pain.
Than pleasure.
Sometimes it's not worth it.
Especially if you're not emotionally prepared.
You got to be ready.
Right.
Yeah.
For the potential consequences.
For the emotional fallout.
Have those honest conversations.
Talk it out.
With yourself and with your partner.
Communication is key.
What are your expectations?
What are you hoping for?
Are you both on the same page?
Do you want the same things?
About the level of emotional involvement.
How much are you willing to invest?
Clear communication is key.
Always.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's a committed partnership or a casual fling.
You got to be on the same page.
The book also talks about the difference between a booty call
interesting.
and a friend with benefits.
Yeah.
Like, is there really a distinction?
There is a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So the book uses those terms to highlight the spectrum,
the range
of casual relationships.
The different types.
A booty call is generally just
about pure physical gratification.
Just physical.
Often late at night.
Yeah.
Fueled by
alcohol. Loneliness.
Yeah. No pretense of like emotional connection.
It's just the physical need.
Deeper intimacy.
It's transactional.
It's like a purely transactional encounter.
Yeah.
Focused on fulfilling a physical need.
The physical need.
Whereas a friend with benefits
right.
suggests a pre-existing friendship.
There's a foundation.
With the added layer.
Of physical intimacy.
Right. Yeah. So there's at least like foundation friendship.
Respect.
Mutual respect.
It's not just a stranger.
Which can make the experience like
meaningful,
more emotionally fulfilling.
Yeah, potentially.
So even within the realm of casual relationships, there are different levels,
different layers
of emotional involvement.
It's not black and white.
Complexity.
It's a spectrum. And the book like encourages women to be mindful,
to be aware of those nuances,
those subtle differences,
to understand their own motivation.
Why are you doing this?
And make choices that are aligned
with your value,
with their values and emotional well-being.
What feels right for you?
I love that.
Me too.
It's about taking ownership of your sexuality, making choices
that
feel empowering,
authentic
to you,
true to yourself.
Now, the book doesn't just focus on women's experiences.
Right.
It also offers insights into
the male perspective.
A male perspective.
It's important to consider both sides.
Which is like one of the things I appreciate about this book.
It's a balanced view.
Right.
Yeah.
It acknowledges that men are also complex beings.
On your feelings too.
With a range of emotions. Motivations.
It's not just about sex. When it comes to sex and relationships,
they want connection too.
And that's refreshing.
It is.
Because sometimes it feels like there's this battle of the sexes narrative.
Right.
Like men and women are from
totally different planets. Yeah, right.
Like, we can't understand each other.
But the book challenges that.
It does.
It highlights that men, like women, can experience a disconnect.
The disconnect between
physical arousal and genuine emotional connection.
It's not always aligned.
So even though men are often stereotyped as being driven purely by physical desire,
just wanting sex,
the book suggests it's more nuanced than that.
It's more complicated.
They can also crave
intimacy,
connection,
emotional
fulfillment in their relationships.
They want more than just sex,
which makes so much sense.
It does,
because ultimately
we're all human beings.
We are,
with a desire to feel
loved,
loved, connected,
valued. We all want that. It's just those desires might manifest
differently depending on
our experiences.
Our experiences and social conditioning.
How we were raised.
The book even delves into the biological underpinnings of male desire.
That gets technical.
Explaining that men's arousal isn't always as straightforward.
As simple.
As it might seem.
As we think.
Like it talks about those 3 different types of erections. Psychogenic, reflex, and nocturnal.
I remember reading about that.
Right. They highlight that men's arousal can be triggered
by various things.
By a variety of factors.
Not just physical.
Not just the physical presence of an attractive woman.
There's more to it.
So it's not always as simple as
we think
seeing a beautiful woman and boom!
Not always.
There's an instant physical response.
Sometimes it's more complicated.
So it's more complex than a simple stimulus response.
It's not that basic.
Yeah. No.
It's thoughts, biological processes.
Right.
At play.
It's a whole world.
It's a whole system.
At play.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important point.
It is.
For women to understand.
To keep in mind.
Because it challenges those stereotypical notions.
Those old ideas.
Of male sexuality.
Men are more than just physical.
Right. It's about recognizing that women experience a range of emotions.
Experience a range of emotions and desires. And that their arousal
isn't always
predictable.
Easily explained.
It's
complex.
The book also explores how the pursuit of sex can have unexpected consequences.
Oh, interesting. For men.
In what way?
It suggests that the more effort.
The more challenge.
And challenge involved in attaining something.
In getting something.
The more they might value.
They appreciate it more.
The experience.
And it's hard earned.
So like playing hard to get.
Oh, that old saying.
Might actually have some merit.
Maybe there's something there.
But I thought that was just an outdated dating myth.
A lot of people think that.
It's not about playing games or manipulating.
Not about that.
Right. It's about recognizing that the ease.
When something is easy.
With which something is attained. Can sometimes diminish its value.
It's not as special.
At least for some men.
There's some people.
So it's about maintaining
a sense of
mystery,
intrigue,
and not giving everything away.
Don't reveal too much.
Too soon.
Keep some things to yourself.
It's about respecting your own worth.
Knowing your value.
Recognizing that you deserve it.
You deserve to be pursued.
To be cherished.
Cherished.
Not taken for granted.
Not taken for granted.
Yeah.
This is all like starting to paint this really fascinating picture.
A clearer understanding
of the dynamics
between men and women in the dating world.
In the dating game.
It's like we're peeling back the layers, uncovering these hidden complexities.
It's more than meets the eye.
And I think that's what makes this book so valuable.
So insightful.
It provides like a framework.
A structure.
For understanding those complexities.
Use a sense of it all.
Without resorting to simplistic stereotypes.
Those overgeneralizations.
Or overgeneralizations. It encourages you
to see both men and women.
Men and women as individuals.
As unique beings with their own unique experiences. Motivations.
And desire. It's about embracing.
The nuances.
Yeah. And recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all.
There's no easy answer.
Approach to dating and relationships.
They're different for everyone.
And that's why the book's ultimate message is so empowering.
It is.
It's about taking ownership.
Of your journey.
Of your dating journey.
Yeah.
Setting healthy boundaries.
Protecting yourself.
Recognizing that you deserve a love.
A love that
feels authentic and fulfilling. So it's not about like following a set of rigid rules, trying to fit into some mold, right?
Yeah.
It's about creating your own dating destiny based on what truly resonates.
What feels true.
With your heart.
Your heart.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that there's no right or wrong way.
There's no one right way.
To approach love.
Relationships. It's your journey.
As long as you're being true to yourself, making choices that feel empowering, and fulfilling, that's a message I think we can all get behind.
Absolutely.
It's about embracing the journey.
Enjoy the ride.
Learning from our experiences.
Every experience is a lesson.
Never settling for a love story
that
doesn't light
your soul.
Find that spark.
It feels like we're finally starting to, like, crack the code of this whole dating game thing.
The journey.
But there's this one piece we haven't really touched on yet.
Okay.
That I think is, like, so crucial.
What's that?
Communication.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Communication is key.
The book really emphasizes clear, honest communication.
Right. It's essential.
Both with yourself and with potential partners.
Right. With everyone involved.
It's about, like, ditching those old school dating scripts.
Those outdated rules where women are expected to be all coy.
Coy?
Play hard to get.
And play hard to get.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Right.
You got to be upfront.
So no more waiting for him to read our minds.
No mind games.
Or dropping subtle hints.
Just see what you mean.
That he's supposed to, like, decipher.
Be direct.
Right.
Yeah.
The book encourages us
to move beyond
those games.
To be honest.
And be upfront about our needs.
And expectations.
Right from the start.
I love that.
Me too.
It's about taking ownership of your desires.
Knowing what you want.
And not being afraid
to go for it.
To express them.
Absolutely.
But what about those guys who, like, just don't get it?
Oh, yeah.
Even when you're being direct.
Even when you're clear.
How do you handle that?
Well, that's where recognizing those red flags comes in.
Okay.
The book gives you a framework for evaluating potential partners.
Based on their actions.
Not just words.
Not just their words.
People can say anything.
So pay attention.
To those early warning signs.
Right.
Those little behaviors.
So it's about trusting your gut.
It is.
And not ignoring those red flags.
Even if he's charming.
Even if he seems perfect on paper.
Yeah, don't ignore your intuition.
Because those initial red flags are often indicators
of bigger problems.
Of deeper issues.
That might come up later.
It's better to address them
early on.
Before
you get too invested.
Than to get caught up
in
something that's not fulfilling.
That's going nowhere.
Those red flags are like
warning signs.
Little warning bell.
Pay attention. Going off in your head.
Telling you to be careful.
Telling you to proceed with caution.
Trust your instincts.
But sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between like genuine red flags.
Real problems.
And just like minor quirks.
Personality differences.
Or differences in personality.
It can be tricky. What are some like specific red flags to look out for?
One big one
is
Mr. Indecisive.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who can't commit.
Right.
Can't make plans.
Always hedging his bets.
Keeping his options open.
Never fully present.
Not all in.
I've definitely met a few of those.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's like you never know where you stand.
He's sending mixed signals.
Because he's sending mixed signals.
Yeah.
He might say one thing.
But do another.
But his actions tell a different story.
Exactly.
And the book says that this indecisiveness is often a reflection
of his own issues.
Of his own insecurities.
Not yours.
Not yours.
Don't take it personally.
So it's not about trying to change him.
You can't change people.
Or convince him to commit.
It won't work.
It's about
recognizing the red flag.
Recognizing
that his behavior is a red flag.
Yeah.
And deciding if you want to deal with that.
With the uncertainty.
Uncertainty. It's your decision.
It's about respecting yourself enough.
To walk away.
Walk away.
From something that's not serving you.
What other red flags?
Okay, another one.
Should we be aware of?
Is Mr. Emotionally Unavailable.
Oh, gosh.
He might seem charming.
Right.
Engaging.
On the surface.
But there's no real depth.
Yeah, there's like a lack of...
Connection?
Genuine connection.
He's guarded.
I think a lot of women...
have met this guy.
Have encountered this type.
Yeah, he's a common one.
He avoids talking about feelings.
Yeah.
Doesn't share anything personal.
Keeps his distance.
It's like he's built a wall.
Around his heart.
Protecting himself.
And you can never truly get close.
He's afraid of intimacy.
And that emotional distance
can be really lonely.
Can be so lonely.
Unfulfilling.
You're always yearning
for
something more.
But he can't give it to you.
But he can't give it.
He doesn't have it to give.
And then there's the classic Mr. Player.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Mr. Player is all about
the chase,
the
conquest. He thrives on the attention and validation.
But he's on a relationship.
But not an actual relationship. He's the master.
Of smooth talk.
Of charm and smooth talk.
But no action.
But his actions rarely match his words.
He's all talk.
He's the one who
Ghosts you.
Ghosts you for weeks.
Then comes back.
And then reappears.
With a charming text.
With a charming text like nothing happened.
Like it's no big deal.
It's all about
keeping you on the hook.
Keeping you on the hook.
Without any real effort.
Without actually investing.
In the relationship.
And the book is like,
don't fall for it.
Don't fall for it.
See through the act.
It says look beyond
the charm.
Yeah.
Pay attention to his actions.
Pay attention to his actions.
That's what matters.
Does he follow through?
Is he reliable?
On his promises?
Does he do what he says he'll do?
Does he actually make an effort?
To get to know you.
To get to know you.
On a deeper level?
Or is it all superficial?
Is it all an act?
It's like you have to be a dating detective.
You got to be observant.
Right.
Look for the clues.
Analyzing his behavior.
Yeah, pay attention to the details.
For clues about his true intentions.
Don't ignore the red flags.
Which can be exhausting.
Can be tiring.
Right.
Yeah, dating is work.
But the book gives you this framework
Sure.
for understanding these patterns.
To make sense of it all.
Making more informed choices.
About who you let in.
About who you let into your life.
Who you give your time to.
And it's not about
judging
or labeling.
We're labeling people.
It's about recognizing patterns.
But recognize
that might not be a good fit.
Behaviors.
Yeah.
That might signal incompatibility.
That you're not compatible.
It's like having this
dating cheat sheet.
Helping you decode those confusing signals.
Those mixed messages.
Make choices.
That are right for you. Aligned with your values.
Your needs.
And desires.
So you deserve.
So it's not about
giving up on love.
Becoming cynical about love.
No, not at all.
Or swearing off men.
It's about being smart.
Right.
About choosing wisely.
It's about recognizing.
Yeah.
You have the power.
You are in control.
To choose who you spend your time with.
You decide who you let in.
Set boundaries.
Protect your heart.
Protects your heart.
Yeah.
Walk away.
When you need to.
From those situations that aren't serving you.
That aren't good for you.
You deserve to be with someone.
Who's truly interested.
Who's genuinely interested.
Respectful. Emotionally available. Sometimes walking away.
The best thing you can do.
Is the best thing.
Is walk away.
For your own well-being.
From those who aren't capable.
They can't give you what you need.
Of giving you that.
If they're not ready.
I think that's like such an important message.
It is.
And it applies to everyone.
Regardless of relationship status.
It's been amazing diving into, he's just not that into you with you.
It's been a pleasure.
I feel like we've uncovered this treasure trove.
Of wisdom.
Of dating wisdom.
Some practical advice.
And practical advice that can help women.
Feel more confident.
Feel more confident and empowered.
In their love lives.
To our amazing listeners.
Yeah.
You deserve a love that lights you up.
A love that makes you feel.
A love that makes you feel seen. Heard and cherished.
Absolutely.
So go out there and create.
And create your own happily ever after.
You deserve it.